I thought you drove a bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a bus for rocks.
And a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Pasta.
There you go. That sounded okay.
Peas.
Name another.
Pierogi again. Pastrami.
What about some pineapple?
Pineapple. Pizza.
Flashback to Jack in first grade.
Parmesan.
Parmesan.
Oh, God. Hello and welcome to another episode of Dookie Spookies, the podcast where we watch bad, scary movies and rank them in an ever-growing list to discover what the worst horror movie of all time
We're
is.
rebranding. We're a list food podcast.
Okay. Well, I'm Pierce.
I'm Chris.
I'm Riley.
I'm Jack. Whoa. Wow.
Maze.
Yeah, and we're your snacks for this evening.
Yeah. I've got a few announcements up top.
What are you, Riley?
I'm fed up.
From all these snacks.
Fed up.
I have a few
Oh, sorry.
things. One is we see you guys watching, and we see you not sticking around to the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Eyes here. Eyes right here.
Yeah. It's
Don't
quite
look away.
frankly, it's embarrassing
It
to
is.
watch a podcast, an hour-long podcast for 10 minutes, and then
Less.
leave. Yeah. I mean, really, you're gonna listen to the opening song? I know it's good. Mm-hmm. I know it's great.
You're going to click off?
Yeah. I mean, come on.
What are you doing?
The end is where it really gets good. If you don't watch through to the end, you don't get the surprise.
Yeah. And there's no misunderstanding here. This is not a video.
No.
There's nothing to watch.
No.
Go,
I know the
fucking
logo's
do
good
your
too,
laundry.
but
Clean
yeah.
your house.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Stick around.
Stick around.
Secondly,
We do appreciate any and all audio ship contributed to this podcast, but also, yeah, we would really love if you would stick around more for the surprise. Okay,
yeah,
continue.
It'd help us out. But that being said, I would like to remind everybody that there are time codes for all the different sections in the description of the video.
Mr. Pierce.
So if you want to jump around or skip a
very
section
hard.
or do whatever, feel free to go down there and click around. So
Efficient.
that being said, let's get on
Yeah, all said and done.
to non-spoiler talk.
Well, from a viewership thing, 9 episodes in, I think.
Yeah,
28 subs as of today.
we appreciate it.
Yeah, that's
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah.
And if you're a bot account, we appreciate you too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, anything helps.
Anything helps. We're up to like $4.03 a
Yeah.
year, I think, on this.
It's pretty good.
Pretty soon, we're going to be able to afford a cup of coffee.
I know.
Yeah. We can almost rent the movie just off of profits from the podcast.
Yeah, we can watch one movie a year.
That's going to be helpful.
All right, this was our plea to the audience.
Yeah, please. Yeah,
Will you mark it in the section as plea to the audience?
I will.
Yeah.
Non-spoiler talk. This movie we watched, whose movie was it? Jack's.
It was Freddy
Yeah.
versus Jason, 2003.
Yeah.
The movie that came right after the, I think, subsequent last films in the original series of Nightmare on Elm Street and
Yeah, well-
Jason.
It was. We'll get into it
Okay.
because
You've got some lore, it sounds like.
yeah. Because before we jump into the discussion, I of course have some general information, per usual. Let's see here. Yeah, like Jack said, released in 2003, budget of $30 million, box office of $116.6 million. So, how heavy do you want me to get into this background info right now?
Honestly, I would love it.
Okay,
I've got-
lore-wise, let's stick to movie stuff. Stay to the movie stuff right now.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about how the movie got made. That's
Oh,
what I have.
all
I
right.
did a bunch of research into.
I thought you were going to Freddy lore.
No, because while there is a lot of it, most of it is there were some kids. He tried to kill the kids. The kids killed him because they didn't fear him.
Or did
All
they?
that you need to know lore-wise is explained in the movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
is.
I've never watched any of the original films for this.
You should,
This
they're
is
good.
the first of both of these franchises I've been exposed to.
Yeah, but back in the late 1980s, Inspired by fan demand for a crossover between Freddy and Jason, New Line Cinema and Paramount Pictures attempted to create a Freddy vs. Jason movie back in the 80s.
In the 80s.
Yes. Which was...
When did these respective movies come out for the first time?
First Friday the 13th came out in 1980. The first Nightmare on Elm Street movie came out in 1984.
And the first thing that these people thought about was, what if they got in a fight?
Well, by that point, I think by the time that they were getting around to making it, or like talking about making it, there had already been like 6
Oh, really?
Friday the 13th movies.
Jesus.
Yeah, they cranked those things out. But because of disagreements between the studios and the failure of Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan,
What?
led to negotiations collapsing. The rights reverted to certain individuals who later sold them to New Line. Attempts to revive the project by Joseph Zito and others faced challenges, with Wes Craven's return for New Nightmare, which is he returned to the series.
Who's Wes Craven?
He's the original director for
Friday. Or Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay.
He left and he
gotcha.
came back.
Okay.
That delayed the project. So because of Cunningham's frustration, who was attempting to...
Cunningham is a New Line guy?
Yeah, he was attempting to make this crossover. Because of Wes Craven returning, and it got delayed, he had frustration over the delayed development, which led him to creating Jason X
Which is
to keep the series alive,
Jason 10.
which is the one where he goes to space.
Yeah.
Jason
Jason in space.
So this movie is responsible for sending Jason Voorhees, serial killer.
He went to space?
He went to space, yeah. It was great. Let's see.
I thought there was one Jason movie and he slashed around.
No.
We're at 10.
No,
And you
there-
said the first
yeah.
movie came out in 80.
Mm-hmm.
There
then they
were at
rebooted
least
it.
8 by 86,
Then
it
they-
sounds like.
Then they rebooted it.
All in the same decade. Mm-hmm. And then they sent him to space.
Yeah.
It was this 1989? When did this movie come out?
This was a couple years later, I think. So I think it was in the 90s.
Oh my.
Because
They
then
were
in the
quick.
90s they started trying to develop a script for this movie.
Oh, okay. So they waited a decade and then they tried to.
New
around to
Line
writing
New
something.
Line reportedly spent a reported $6 million to get various writers and directors involved, receiving 18 drafts from different writers and directors
this movie?
For this movie,
How long was it in development?
from the mid 1980s to 2003,
2003?
20 years.
Jesus Christ.
20-year lead up
So
to
this is
this.
somebody's magnum opus.
No, I wouldn't say that. I've got a bunch of names of people who worked on it. Not interesting.
This is some writer from the 80s is sitting down to drink his tea and listen to his favorite podcast. Oh, I was on this show.
Look, you wrote a draft
I
that didn't
hope
get
they
chosen.
mention me. Oh, no.
Write a better draft. In 1999,
The worst day of my life.
Mark Verheiden proposed 2 different endings to the film, one with Freddy winning and one with Jason winning. Mark Protasevich was hired in 2000 to write a new script, and Todd Farmer, a writer for Jason X, also contributed. Mark Swift and Damian Shannon were later hired for delivering a pitch. That's a lot of writers. Wes Craven, Guillermo del Toro, Ronnie Yu, and Rob Zombie
I feel like I
declined
know them.
opportunities to direct this film. I would love to see what a Guillermo del Toro
I was gonna say.
version of this would be.
What
Yeah.
what else has he done?
He did Pacific Rim. He did
Oh, that was cool.
I think he did the
Oh, he did
original
Pan's
Hellboys.
Labyrinth.
Did he do Hellboy?
I mean, maybe. I don't. Oh yeah, he did do Hellboy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd love to see what he would have done with this. I think it would have been great. Rob Zombie too. That would have been incredible.
Wow.
Ronnie Yu eventually signed as the director in May 2002 with creative freedom granted, I will note. Various endings, including one with Pinhead from the Hellraiser franchise, were considered but not pursued.
What?
Okay.
This
Yeah.
was the final film for Robert Englund as
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger. James Wan was originally going to direct this as well, but had already committed to directing Saw.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Maybe he made a call there, and it might have been right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is
seems-
just some more
seems
background
so.
stuff. Lead actress Monica Keena stated after the release that she thought the screenplay was terrible and she only took the job for the money.
Okay.
Bodes well.
Yep.
Chris, you'll like this. Rey Mysterio played one of Freddy Krueger's stunt doubles in the boiler room fight scene.
I do like
Does that make
That's
sense? Or does
fucking
that
hilarious?
fucking Rey Mysterio? Booyaka Booyaka 619. Okay.
I kind of wish you would have told me that before we watched it, because now I'm gonna have to go back to try to figure out where he was at.
Fucking incredible, dude.
He's
That's
spin around some pole.
oh my god, that's amazing. So, if you want to talk about this, is where we can talk about the lore a little bit.
I'm trying to take the fucking
Yeah.
rest of that in, dude. What the fuck?
What?
23 years essentially from
Yeah.
its inception in 1980. It was 2.5 decades of thought and
Of
work,
fighting
and
over
blood
rights.
and money,
And various scripts.
and all of that led to this movie.
Yeah.
Which, from my understanding, is the last one before their respective reboots.
Yes.
Years later.
Yes, but not canonically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this movie considered canon?
Yes.
Yep.
In the first
In the first canon?
yes.
How many canons are there?
Well, the reboots have different canon.
Okay. But this one capped off the first canon.
Yes.
So were Freddy and
But not
were these guys
canonically-
always in the same world? Canonically?
I guess retrospectively they made that so, but not originally.
Okay.
Yeah.
The lore I think makes sense to me because again, first time ever seeing these guys on screen. They do a very good job at the beginning of this movie of really laying it out for you.
Well, they just tell you the lore.
Yeah, which I appreciate. Because I didn't know that. Okay, here's a question I have about Jason Voorhees. So he's like a gross little guy, and the other kids
Yeah.
are like, you should drown in the lake.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That's
they
not funny.
kill his mom. The
So-
camp
Well-
counselors.
His mom went to the camp kind of freaking out because her son died.
In the first Friday the 13th movie, Jason's not in it. It's the mom. Spoilers.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
The mom is the killer in the first movie.
The mom is the what? Mm-hmm. What?
Yes. I did forget about
So yes,
that.
they yes, they do kill her because she is the killer in the first movie.
And she's the killer
And
because so she's killing people at a summer camp because those camp counselors let her son die. In the
yes.
lake.
Yes.
Because they were fucking.
Okay, so why can't Jason Voorhees die? Is that ever explained?
Just a curse or
Yeah.
something.
It's just movie magic. Yeah.
Movie magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make, in my opinion, the best horror movie villain of all time.
Really?
I love
He's
Jason.
definitely up there. Yeah.
I fucking love Jason. I always
Why?
have. He's like this lumbering, like, force of nature.
Yeah, that's it. He's like a rhinoceros.
But it's got a great look.
it is pretty. I mean,
It's
yeah, I guess
iconic. Great soundtrack. I mean, it's. I think everything about him is so badass. Like he doesn't talk. He's just like, I'm gonna kill you, and I'm just. That's it.
Yeah. You came in my swamp. Time to go.
Yeah, he's like Shrek.
Oh, yes.
Although I will say, this movie was the first instance of a modern shared universe in Hollywood.
The first ever instance.
It predated Alien vs. Predator by a year and paved the way
Wow.
for modern blockbuster shared universes like the MCU, the Godzilla shared universe, and the DC.
You know what? So this movie walked. This movie
Yeah.
crawled. This movie groveled. So
so the MCU,
so the MCU could
like walk.
hang out. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I mean, there's so much deep ass lore in this.
Yeah, I mean the Jason Voorhees stuff. I gotta watch the rest of those movies. Maybe
Yeah.
one day we'll do a Patreon. I don't know, fucking Jason
Marathon,
Voorhees special
yeah.
or something. The Nightmare on Elm Street guy. I liked that his lore was very concise. He was
was a
like,
serial
I'm
killer.
a serial killer and I'm scary. Oh, and then the parents took revenge on me.
Yep.
Which
which is in the first. That's the first.
okay.
movie. Johnny Depp's
Was he
in it.
just so good at killing that nobody knew it was him? Why did nobody know it was him? It seemed like everybody in the town knew he was the killer.
No, when they found out he was the killer, they burned him alive.
Oh, they didn't
Yeah.
wait for the police.
Yeah, they just
Okay,
killed him.
They just killed him. Fair enough.
And then he comes back. From the
Long
dead.
term mistake, right? Probably should have just arrested the guy.
Yeah.
You could have saved yourself
Probably.
some grief.
But then you don't get Freddy Krueger.
Right, which I think
And
probably
all
would
his-
have been an upside for
all
these
his
guys.
showmanship.
So I thought that Rick and Morty episode where Freddy Krueger's in it, and he's like, hey, bitch. I was like, this must be a fun joke that they're playing where he
No,
says
that's just-
bitch.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's just his character.
He's just
Yeah.
like a goofy Jim Carrey type.
Yeah, he's like if Jim Carrey was the
Yeah.
worst.
He's like the Mask, but super evil.
Yeah, exactly. That's I had that thought.
the mask,
watching
but
it.
super evil. I think it's a funny thing to come up with, like a guy sitting around, like I need to write a character. He comes to your dreams, and
It
he goes,
is very
"Bitch."
2000s though.
It's very 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Really?
the character, the movie was
yeah.
very 2000s. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I think one of the reasons I always gravitated more towards Jason than Freddy was because very quickly Freddy became a caricature of himself.
Yeah.
Because he was a little goofy and weird in the first movie, but like still scary. Whereas
Right.
I feel like Jason, like you can't make him a caricature of himself because he's just Jason.
Yeah,
You
he's
can't
a
do
big,
anything
strong
with it.
guy. He'll just cut you up.
Yeah, this was the biggest.
Strongest version of him.
It was the tallest version of Jason
Really?
to date.
He looked very large.
6'5".
Big
Big
guy.
dude.
Big dude.
But yeah, canonically, this movie, Freddy vs. Jason, was the second to last in that series.
Okay.
Then Jason X, where he goes to space.
Okay, so canonically, this movie's okay. Jason goes to space after this movie.
Yes.
What happens to Freddy Krueger after this movie?
Nothing. He gets rebooted.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So his story ends there. First
Yeah.
canon.
He gets thrown in that
but
weird
Jason
watery
goes
closet.
to space.
Yeah. Jason chopped his head off,
Yeah.
and
So
the
at some
kids
point
forgot
he
about him.
discards the head of Freddy Krueger. And
Yeah.
Gets on a spaceship.
Yeah. I can't remember the ins and outs of Jason
I'll
X.
rate it right now. I'll rate Jason X right now.
Okay.
How do you get rid of a guy who can't die?
Send him into space.
Send him into space.
It's great.
That's the movie.
Then he gets on a spaceship
Does he come back at the end of that?
to Earth. I
Yeah.
can't
You have to
remember.
watch and find out.
That's true.
Okay, that's the next movie.
So
Well, what do you think, Riley?
that's all my background
You're
stuff.
nodding off over there.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's
You gotta
an
wake
EP
up.
pod tonight.
Do you want to instead of Chris telling us what the story was, do you want to tell us the story?
Yeah.
Switch it up.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What was the story about?
Come on, dude.
You got it.
Sorry, I'm not.
You don't remember the story? Didn't you just watch it yesterday?
Didn't you just watch it today?
Yeah, actually,
Oh, okay.
You watched it like 3 hours ago.
to be fair though, I was cooking while I was watching it.
That's okay. You probably didn't miss anything too important. This is basic
Yeah, but
overview.
not- Yeah.
Okay, basic overview. From what I remember, are we doing? Is this getting into spoilers?
No, just a basic overview.
No, just what's the
Just imagine
You got it.
you're writing it for IMDb. Like, what would you tell? Like, what would you say this movie's about without spoiling the ending?
Two super villains
Okay.
cross
Fighting.
paths, go at it. Yeah, over a bunch of kids.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was perfect.
Fucking,
Two super
like pulling
villains
teeth
go
over
after.
here.
okay?
You better cut that out, motherfucker.
Don't worry. I can give
All
one
its
to.
glory.
I'm so
I think that's
tired.
perfect.
It's like,
It's two
yeah.
super villains going after it over some kids.
Yeah,
That's exactly
That
what
that
happens.
is pretty close.
it's perfect.
And by kids, we should probably specify like definitely 27.
I was gonna
Yep.
say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Playing high schoolers as
Yeah.
Yeah.
as the good old days showed us.
Right. When things were simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I used to say that we're not professional movie critics, so don't trust what we say, but we kind of are.
Yeah. At this point,
yeah.
we have 28 subscribers.
So
Yeah.
our word is gospel. Okay, ratings out of 10. What are we thinking? How are we feeling?
how many? Well, what out of 10? What? Oh boy, out of 10.
what was the
Machetes.
thing in this movie?
Out of 10 Hypnosil bottles.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
maybe Hypnosil.
Yeah, 10 pills of Hypnosil. Okay, 10
Out of
pills.
10 pills of Hypnosil.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I'm going to give this one. And you know what? My rating would have been lower yesterday, but the more I thought about this movie today, the more I was like, I liked it.
Yeah.
It's, for me, like a 5 to 6 pills of Hypnosil movie. Perfectly serviceable, accomplishes exactly what it sets out to, is sometimes scary, sometimes funny.
Yeah.
It blankets every horror movie trope you could ever think of.
Yes.
I think that I can't remember if it was the director or whatnot, but I read this on the Wikipedia page where he's like, "Yeah, I like the movie. It's a good movie to eat like some cold pizza with."
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's
I think it was one of the
fine
actors.
movie.
I think one of the actors was like, "It's fine.
Yeah.
I had a good time filming
Uh-huh.
it. You know, I enjoy watching it. It's fine."
It was entertaining enough.
Yeah.
I didn't walk away from it like this is the greatest film I've ever seen in my life. But I was
Definitely
like,
not.
oh, you know, slasher. Oh.
Yeah, no. I would definitely agree. This is just I don't want to say stereotypical, but this is your average slasher. Like it
Yeah,
But like kind of
boring.
dialed up to 11.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just not in like, you know, in the ways that sequels are like, let's do the same thing but bigger.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
This is I think this is it may not be the best movie, but I think this is almost exactly what you would want from a Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
I've got some thoughts on that.
Oh,
but
interesting.
We'll
Okay.
get into
Okay.
that.
Go ahead.
We'll get into it. What are you out of 10? What do you think?
Out of 10,
Out of 10,
Pills of
Pills,
hypnosil.
yeah. I'd probably say same as Jack. Probably like 5 or 6, kind of middle territory.
me too. I'm 6.
Yeah.
Like I'm a hard 6. That's exactly where I think it is. It's like a time capsule into what I imagine it was like in 2003.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a good
Like the
point.
good and the bad.
Yep.
Because there's some bad.
There's some bad. There's some bad.
Some-
There's some bad. in
and
there.
I think a lot of this movie has aged pretty well.
Shockingly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It looks
I mean-
good. It's pretty funny. I think the humor is more appreciated now than it would have been back then. Because people wanted it to be serious and dark and gritty, because that's what the X-Men did, right?
yeah.
I guess so.
But I think people appreciate the humor now. Obviously, there's some parts of it that didn't age as well.
Yeah.
But you know, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, hard 6.
Hard 6.
I actually, you know what? When I thought about ranking this, I was like, how am I going to do it? Part of me was like 10. I loved this movie so much, but then like some of the very obvious flaws in it brought it down to a 6 for me. But
But you love, like, as far as like your entertainment
I had a
went with
great
this
time,
movie,
dude.
Yeah.
I had a great time with this movie.
Yeah, I technically was working the whole time I was watching it, so I was like pissed off for another reason.
Yeah, you were driving that bus.
I was driving. Oh God, man, Jesus! You ever try to watch a movie in traffic?
It's crazy.
Sucks when you have to drive a bus.
You're crazy, dude.
Yeah. What do you think, Riley? I got to take that Mack truck down the school road, and I was trying to watch a movie.
gosh.
It's like, 3 p.m.
know.
School's getting out.
All those kids yelling in the back. Just trying to enjoy your movie.
No, I drive a dump truck.
I thought you drove a bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a bus for rocks. You know, they're sort of the same thing.
Yeah, Riley, out of 10. Out of 10 pills of retrosil. What is it?
Yeah,
Hypnosil.
that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Close enough.
Probably like I had a better time watching this than I did The Happening, so I'm just going with 8 pills.
8 pills? Fuck yeah.
You like all these
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah, you have liked every movie.
Just here for a good time.
It's respectable.
That's important. You're the foil. You're like,
I do
we're like,
want-
we hated it. And you're like, I don't know. I had fun.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
do
it's okay.
want to know. I absolutely despise and hate gore movies, but the highs of this movie outweighed
The lows.
the lows.
The
It
high
wasn't-
being immediate full frontal nudity.
Yeah, I have a boob counter, by the way. Anybody want to place your bets? Place your bets. How many pairs of boobs in this movie?
Oh, pairs or shots of pairs?
How many pairs?
How many pairs? Like, okay, two.
Like-
There's two pairs of boobs.
Wrong.
What?
More
You're
than that.
thinking shots.
Yeah, how many boobs are shown?
Like
Like
I wanna say
people
it's-
or
How many boob shots are there?
oh,
Okay.
wow, geez.
Yeah.
I want to say like
what I
maybe
said.
Yeah.
4.5.
It's pretty close.
I'm not looking.
I don't trust you.
Pierce's hiding his screen.
Hurry up!
Yeah,
Remember.
I'm trying to
Remember.
recollect. Listen, unlike apparently
So
some
many
of us,
boobs,
I don't
yeah.
zero in on
He's got to
boobs.
sort out all the boobs he saw today.
Yeah.
Was it those
I'm gonna go
ones?
7.
The answer is 5.
5 boobs.
Ah!
There was one pair on the van.
Oh, so that's a good movie
Subtle.
trivia question.
Subtle.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. All right. 8 pills of Hypnosil, and then kind of round the table 6.
Yeah.
So we're at
Yep.
what is that? 24
Who cares?
total pills.
Whatever. Okay. So let's move into non-spoilers here. Now, I've got a couple things I want to say up front. Just a couple like brief overview things that I was like, I picked out a few things that I just really liked about this movie. It's a pretty tight 97 minutes. It goes by quick. I wish they would have fought for more than 15 minutes. You know, the titular
Really?
characters.
The fight scene to me felt almost exactly as long as it should have been.
Really?
I
Well,
agree.
I think it's people had this complaint about like Godzilla versus King Kong movies or whatever, right? Where they're like, or like Batman v Superman is a good example. Where like most of the movie is shit you don't give a fuck about, and then for the last 15 minutes they fight. You're like, I don't want to watch a movie called Jason versus Freddy
Yeah.
So-
when they don't fight for most of it. That being said, I think they did it cleverly to get them to fight.
I
Yeah.
agree. And that was what I was going to say is, although they don't fight until the end of the movie,
The setup to the fight
yes,
is
the setup to the fight, it's
pretty well thought out.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was everything.
culminates.
Yeah,
It's like
it was.
Yeah, that's the thing that I think this movie does well that some of the other movies we watch just fail miserably at. Is this movie, it peaks.
Yeah.
And when it peaks,
You know it.
You know it's peaking, and you're along for the ride.
Yeah,
It's not like The
absolutely.
Happening, where The Happening's like false peaking
Uh-huh.
and like edging you the entire movie.
Yeah.
No, this one, it
No.
does exactly what it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Freddie had a real sense of showmanship that I can appreciate.
Yep,
He was
I would
on-
agree with that.
He was on his game.
I would agree with
It was
that.
his last performance.
Yeah,
It was.
literally.
For somebody who just got exposed to Freddy, this movie, yeah, I could understand how this would be like a hateable, scary character.
Yeah. I think there are some truly great kills in this movie,
I agree.
especially on Jason's side.
Man, I'm
Not so
trying
much
to-
on
I'm trying to remember.
Freddie's side. Folding that dude in half in the bed.
Oh,
my God,
the
that's
opening.
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one was good. Well,
So
we should
awkward.
go through the kills if you have.
I've got him. Folding that dude in the bed.
Well, let's get through our
Bridges into
our-
spoiler.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're in spoiler.
We're not in spoiler. I thought you said we're
Yeah.
not spoiler.
I just said let's move on to spoiler talk. I've got a few things I want to say up top.
I think you said let's move
Yeah.
into non-spoiler.
I don't
talk.
think-
We were already in non-spoiler talk, so
Riley-
you know what I meant.
Riley, did you hear that? Because
I mean, we
I
could
think
just-
that missed me and Jack. I don't want to let
Yeah.
this one go. I want to let this
I
one
mean,
go.
this is a recorded media. So.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have
He's
said.
gonna cut it
No,
in. We're gonna listen to this.
Pierce,
and
I'm
then
sorry,
there's-
but you said
very-
non-spoiler
There's
talk.
gonna be a very obvious cut. We're talking about spoilers
maybe,
now.
maybe I did, but we were already in the spoiler section, so you could have drawn conclusion that I meant
All
spoiler.
right,
talk.
yeah. Sorry, we didn't have the foresight
Otherwise-
to interpret
yeah.
your words.
Otherwise,
Sorry.
I wouldn't have talked about how they only fight in the last 15 minutes.
Oh, that feels
that's
That's
like
not
a-
really
Yeah, that's
spoiler.
not-
You know they're gonna
You would-
fight.
you know they're gonna.
That's still a
It's-
spoiler.
I feel like you expect that from like
A movie,
Like you just
yeah.
said,
I'm so
most
sorry,
versus
guys.
movies do that same thing.
yeah, but if you were
Oh,
going
I
to
thought you were
see
apologizing
Yeah.
to me. I was
again,
like,
if you were going to
leaving?
see Batman v Superman and you said, "Hey, heads up," at people walking in the theater, they only fight in the last 15 minutes.
What?
People are going to be like, "Thanks for the spoiler."
No, I would have walked into that movie and I would have got, hi, I wonder what I'm going to see today. Batman versus Superman. They're going to fight. And it's probably going to happen in the last third of the movie.
Yeah, but that's still
Yeah.
a spoiler. You can't. That's at the end of the movie.
Okay. Non-spoiler. Or wait, fuck.
Oh, not so easy, is it? It's easy to flub, huh? We're in spoilers, so I'm talking about the kills.
Okay, we're talking about the kills.
God,
Okay,
almighty.
my favorite one that I can remember off the bat is when what's that fucking guy? The fat guy, sort of the Jim Belushi character, and the during the farm scene where they're at the big party at the farm.
Okay, I've got some before that.
Oh, jeez. Well,
Yeah.
fucking. Do you want to go do them in order?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I've got them written down in order.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
I just wanted to say
Nice
my
and neat.
favorite.
We'll get to it. Folding the dude in the
Fuck
bed.
me, I guess.
Great kill.
Yeah, great kill.
Good kill.
Also funny because I like how they made you hate that character so much immediately.
He was the worst.
Sucked so bad.
He was the worst.
Babe, don't make me ask you twice.
Yeah, massage my neck.
I have a note like that. And I said, if I hear any of you fuckers talking to your girlfriend like that, I will slap you silly.
Could you imagine? I don't know. Just a ridiculous thing to say to somebody. Very 2003.
Yeah.
I told you I don't like cooling after.
Yeah, I don't like being touched after.
I
babe.
loved that. That
I think
was
I wrote that
so
down
good.
too.
Like that's a great line right there. Let's see other kills. So he killed the other guy and his dad,
His best friend.
That one wasn't as great.
Well, I actually enjoyed that kill a lot. Not necessarily the kill itself,
It's for the psycho.
but I felt it was a really good jump scare because it was very unexpected. All of
did
a
get
sudden, the dad's falling apart, and then it cuts. Jason's right next to him.
Yeah, and it
That-
sort of did set up like their the Jason Freddy relationship.
Yeah.
That kill, it was like, look, oh, this is how they're gonna do it.
Yeah,
working
yeah. It was
together.
starting to kind of
Yeah.
foreshadow where
Freddy's
that was
using
going.
Jason.
I liked the dream sequence before that. I thought
In
it
the
was
police
scary.
station?
No, the one
Where
with
they were
the
sitting
Troy
in the
kid
street?
with the
Oh,
goat,
yeah.
with the bloody goat. I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Goat on screen.
Yeah.
Goats in horror movies, it's a trope.
Never good.
Fucking scary, dude.
Yeah, it's no good.
A little bloody goat. Oh, I don't know what's so weird about them, but they freak me out.
This is their weird square eyes. When he turned that dude's head around the wrong way, when he snapped his neck,
Oh yeah,
was
That
crazy.
was the farm one.
that was it.
right?
Yeah,
That was-
Yep.
And then the other guy goes, oh, shit. Sets on
Yeah, they
fire.
were talking
Yeah.
shit. Yep, and then just
and look, fucking Jason Voorhees on fire is maybe the most badass thing I've ever seen.
yeah,
That was cool as fuck.
yeah, just slashing.
It looked sick.
Yeah, it looked like Jason Voorhees on fire.
It looked sick, dude.
Listen, maybe my image of Jason Voorhees, because I'd never watched these movies as a kid, has been tainted by like every single person, like just seeing him constantly forever, and like, you know, I found that scene a little like that to me kind of felt like jumping the shark. That's what I understand jumping the
Well,
shark.
I
to
mean,
me.
that's
it's like
this
we've
movie.
made. It's like yeah, I guess so. I guess it's a good point. This
Do
movie
everything
jumped the
bigger and not better, but bigger.
Yeah,
So you set him on fire. He throws that flaming machete through a guy's chest.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
Although, but then you have to start thinking during that kill scene. Like, I know you're loving watching him slay people,
Sick.
but there's a guy in there who goes, "Fuck you, man! You killed my brother." And for a moment, I was like, "Oh, jeez, man! This is kind of a really scary moment for these kids."
good. That means it's doing its job.
Well, I had too much empathy for the people getting massacred.
It's a good thing that they're all 26.
could you imagine being at a party
26. They
in
live
a
long, fulfilling lives.
yeah, in a just 6'5" mute man starts
On fire.
destroying everybody with the machete.
Who was on fire.
Yeah, how like terrifying would that be?
I think it's funny that people tried to fight him too.
Yeah,
That was
Like, this dude's on fire.
Yeah, and he's still going
You're going to
around.
fight him? Get out of here.
Just a note before you move on to the next kill. Our sub list of greatest movie parties of all time.
This
I
one's-
think this one takes.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Like the Haunting of Molly Hartley party was pretty sick.
That's
Listen,
a mansion.
Yeah,
that
with
was
a DJ.
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
one felt more down to earth.
This is a
And-
cornfield.
Yeah, but
Hear
this
me
was
out.
no
No
rave.
DJ.
I
Not
think
as cool.
Stitches. The party in Stitches was better.
That's, yeah.
The party in Stitches was pretty sick.
Look, okay, this perfect segue. I'll tell you why this party isn't as good. Okay, glow stick guy,
That is true.
glow stick guy.
The downside of this movie. Well, you know what I didn't like about that scene, outside of the obvious like ramifications of what was going on, was that I thought they were setting up some some viewer payback where this guy's going to get killed, but instead they just spoilers kill like Gibbs and that guy.
Well, he still chucked that dude 1,000 miles away.
He did, which
That
is
is true.
funny. But he did also kill the main character.
Not the main character.
Yeah.
Or sorry, I get them confused. But like that death, Gibbs' death there, unearned. I thought in that movie that was like the low point. Like all the other deaths, I was like, this is
Well,
like
That death was solely for plot. That was a complete plot death.
I thought it was just really to get rid of the Gibbs character.
Well, no, because that was the catalyst for Freddy versus Jason. Because Freddy
Oh,
was in
you're
the middle
right.
of,
Yeah.
he was about to kill her, and then right as he was opened up the locker, was about to get her, is when Jason stabbed her.
Yeah.
and then he's like, "What the fuck? That was
That's a
mine.
good
That was
point.
mine."
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then that's when the beef really started.
Okay. Okay.
What did I? Oh, there's a real missed opportunity to not kill off the Gibbs character while she's smoking a cigarette with like, I don't know, Freddy Krueger saying, "You know those things will kill you, right?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Real missed opportunity.
This movie
there.
also took a very anti-sig stance from the get-go.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is weird. Like that's jumping back to that boyfriend, the mean, abusive boyfriend. He was weirdly anti-cigarette.
Yeah.
He's really like, babe, you know those things are bad for you.
But also rub my back.
yeah. Go shower. Your hair smells like cigs.
Weird. Okay, wrapping up the kills. Cutting that guy in half in the hallway. Good practical effect.
Yeah.
Looked good. Knocking that one girl
Into
at
that
the end,
tree?
into that
Holy
tree
shit,
at Mach
dude.
12.
Yeah, that
Brutal.
was
She broke the sound barrier.
insane.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that one, I was like, ouch.
Yeah, and then I actually think
Gee.
that his final kill on Jason Voorhees was like one of the most disappointing ones.
Yeah, the fingerless hand through the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just shoving his own hand through it. Not
Whatever.
great. Whatever. Physics don't exist in this movie.
Nope.
That's another
No.
thing. But those are my general thoughts on it.
Okay.
Took way longer to get through. than
Yeah,
expected.
here's mine. I want to talk about if this is a shared universe, which it is. In this shared universe, Ohio and New Jersey are right next to each other, and both of those states are significantly
Are they
smaller.
in Ohio?
So the Nightmare on Elm Street takes place in Ohio.
Okay.
In what, Springsville? I don't know. Generic Ohio town. And I did the math today. So Crystal Lake is a fictional town in Essex, New Jersey.
Yes.
If you were, and I was being generous here, to drive from Youngstown, Ohio, which is on the easternmost side of Ohio, to this fictional, like the hypothesized place in New Jersey where Crystal Lake is, that's a 6-hour drive. And I don't think they were on the easternmost point of Ohio. They're probably somewhere in the middle, which means that they had to play. This all happened in one night.
Yeah.
How?
It was a really fast van.
Movie magic.
that's a good point.
Movie magic, I know, but so
Tranquilizers.
in this world,
Yeah.
well,
There's a lot of
dosing him
sedative.
every like 5 minutes. So they brought 6 hours worth of sedative shots.
They were also giving them to him frequently.
Frequently.
Yeah.
Like every other minute, they were pumping him with
The
more
only logical
drinks.
explanation is that Ohio and New Jersey in this world are neighboring states.
Yeah, I thought it was weird in the opening when Jason Voorhees posing as, or Freddy Krueger posing as Mama Voorhees,
Oh yeah.
telling her son to wake up from the dead. And the kids have been bad on Elm Street, and then he just gets up and goes, "What Elm Street? Lady?
Right.
Where am I supposed to go? Which Elm Street? There's got to be what tens
hundreds
of
of them.
thousands."
And after he found out, he would have had to walk, presumably,
Yeah.
from New Jersey to Ohio
yeah,
to get there on time.
which he did.
Which he did. And I didn't look up how long of a walk that is, but I imagine it's weeks.
Well,
Also,
see,
did not
here's-
see a person that entire walk.
yeah.
Here's the thing about Jason that's deceptive is on screen he's this slow lumbering guy, but he moves around quick.
Yeah.
because
he
like
gets from place to place.
because like
very
oh,
fast.
you see him in the window,
That's
and then you
actually-
go upstairs and he's upstairs. You're like, how the fuck did you run up here? How'd you do that?
So he's actually very nimble.
Yeah.
He just walks real slow to fuck with you.
Yes, I think that's what it is.
Oh, interesting.
When the cameras are on him, he
he slows real
yeah.
down.
He
gives you a
sandbags.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sandbags.
But the moment it cuts away, it's takes off.
I think that's what happened, which makes him scary.
I mean, it must have, because in that
doubt.
in that opening shot, with the, I was like, oh great, we're watching a horror movie. When it opened with the girl getting in the lake,
Yeah.
and she turns around to face the camera.
Boobies.
She's like, where are you, Mike? I think I wrote down like boyfriend jump scare inbound. We didn't get a boyfriend jump scare, but she did say the classic boyfriend jump scare line, which is like, I've had enough or something. It's like, come out, Jake. This is
Yeah.
scaring me.
This
Anyways.
isn't funny.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's
This
what it
isn't
is.
funny.
Yeah.
She should have watched more Jason movies because getting out of the water was like the last thing to do.
Should have been.
Should've
Although,
in the
well,
water.
that's a weird. I don't know about
the water's not safe either.
What?
I was gonna say
I thought he was afraid of water.
Well, it's a weird thing where in this
yeah.
movie they state that he's afraid of water, Freddy's afraid of fire, right? But
and Head is afraid of Earth.
yeah,
The clown from It is afraid of air.
in the Friday the 13th movies, it's
Fire Nation.
shown very clearly that Jason has no qualms about attacking people from under the water.
No, really.
He does it often.
Yes. It's
He's like a seal.
one of the it's one
He
of the
does he does-
scarier kills that he does is when he just pops out of the water.
Oh, because you're like
Take
he's
someone.
immune to his only weakness.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a weird part of this.
Until it's convenient for Freddy.
Oh, until or the writers.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, so it gets pretty quickly into the kills. I mean, kind of right away.
Yeah, they don't wait.
Jason's and he runs through some of those main characters quick.
Yeah.
Fast. Yeah.
There were a lot.
Yeah.
There are a
Yeah.
lot of characters to call off in this movie.
A lot of cannon fodder.
And I thought the pacing of it was still done well.
Yeah.
Every time, I wasn't ever like, so many kills, or Jesus, will something happen? I
Yeah.
was like, this is a perfect amount of time.
And just when you're sick of one location, they bring you to the next
I
location.
was convinced that Gibbs was the main character when this movie
She,
opened.
I thought
thought so
she
too.
should have been.
She had way better like final girl vibes.
yeah,
than
but she
I
wasn't a
thought.
virgin.
Which is an important part of being final girl in these movies.
Yeah, the final person alive is always the virgin.
Yeah.
That's a
But
classic.
they sort of
horror
made
movie
fun of
trope.
it in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's okay.
No, which I think was good. This movie was like aware of it. It was aware of itself.
although one of the virgins died.
That is true.
Lenderman, the nerd.
Yeah.
He wasn't a virgin.
Oh, that's right.
He said it
Oh,
still
he said
counts
he
if you pay
paid
for
for
it.
it.
Yeah. Weird that this 16-year-old kid.
Yeah, hired a prostitute. I wrote that down.
Listen, don't question it.
What are you in the It Follows universe? Get the fuck out of here.
Whoa, that's a
Wow.
you. Who wrote that movie?
Don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought it was it, and I was like Stephen King.
That's-
a rag at you. But yeah, okay. So opening party. Yeah, I thought Gibbs would have been a great final girl, but I guess I missed that trope. Yeah, kill asshole boyfriend.
Bend him backwards.
Fantastic.
Great.
Misdirect with like I'm gonna get Jason if it's the last thing I do. No, you're not. Here's a weird thing about this town. Every single adult is in a conspiracy to forcefully institutionalize kids if they start dreaming.
No, so I think the background of it, because I haven't seen all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, but from what I gathered, and I know this, that Freddy can only kill people and hurt people if they are afraid of him, if they know who he is and they're afraid of him. So that's his whole goal here, is to basically get Jason to spook everybody into thinking he's back, so they all start talking about him, so they all get scared of him again, so he can come back. So the kids that were in the previous movies, that basically remember him, they locked them away to get them away from
Yeah.
everybody else. So so the guy in the movie is right. They were quarantined
Yeah.
Right.
to not spread the fear.
So isn't that
Essentially, it's a giant
isn't
cover
that
up.
the opposite of what you should do if you were trying to get rid of a scary dream man in your town?
I think locking
So-
all the kids away so nobody remembers them is a solid.
Yeah, I was
I-
gonna say, ethically,
What? No.
maybe morally, like ethically, not really a good solution, but to solve the problem,
Yeah, but long
Pretty
term,
effective.
you've short term solved the problem, but
No.
in the long term, you can just bring Jason back, and now you're afraid again.
Well, they didn't know
Because
that.
you're
Yeah, they
it's
didn't
like
know
saying,
about
it's like
Jason.
I don't know what's something that your people are afraid of generally.
snakes.
Snakes, sure. like the best way to handle fear of snakes is to make sure nobody ever sees a snake or knows what a snake is.
Well, that's contingent on the.
It's important because then when they are exposed to a snake, they won't fucking know what it is, and
That's-
and they won't be scared.
That's contingent on the fact that snakes would have to only hurt you if you were
afraid of them,
Yeah.
which is probably true.
No.
Right?
But also at the same time,
I don't think that's
No,
how
like if
snakes
you're more
work.
afraid around a snake and you're like freaking out and all nervous, that snake's gonna be like, "Whoa, what the fuck's wrong with you, man?"
I mean,
it's like saying like, "Oh, that
kind of,
animal's
but-
more afraid of you than you are of it." So don't
That
be.
seems like the opposite.
that animal is more afraid of you than you are of it. Yeah,
That seems like
that's
I
not
mean,
the opposite. That is how
I
animals
do
are.
get what you're saying,
Every
but
animal's
but that's like-
scared.
but that's
a
like the-
rattlesnake will bite or will.
Okay, but you get
cause
my
some
point,
damage
right? Like
regardless of how you
this,
feel.
like, oh, hey, safety for car accidents. We should make sure that nobody ever sees a car accident.
So
Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I think-
like the logical
that's-
solution here is to be like, that's Freddy. He's a big piece of shit. But if you just act like he's regular, he literally cannot hurt you.
But you can't just act like he's regular.
No,
You
well,
have
he
to-
is a
so we
supernatural
indoctrinate our
figure.
children with Freddy imagery from the moment they're born. We rebrand him completely.
Yeah, but I think this.
I feel like that would be a lot more difficult than
You just start
erasing
young.
him.
You put Freddy in front of the kids immediately. They come out and then they watch like Freddy cartoon shows, and he does weird magic. So you reinvent humor in this universe to make it so when Freddy
I
does
thought it-
creepy
You know
goat
what?
shit,
I
you're
thought
like,
it was
that's
more
funny.
like-
So I thought this was unethical what they had done, but hearing Jack's argument, I think they should have pushed it further and given them more drugs to just completely ruin their brains, so there was no chance of them remembering
how's
him.
that pushing my argument forward?
No,
I'm saying this was a bad decision.
No, but I'm saying after hearing your proposed solution,
So you're doubling
They should have
down?
made it work. Yes.
for what reason?
So here's the thing that I think that, and then Riley, you can say what you wanted to say.
I forgot now.
I think this town was ashamed of the whole Freddy Krueger thing. So their solution, rather than confronting the problem, like you probably should, they decided to lock it away,
it's a
which has
metaphor for
proved
shame.
maybe, which this movie proved that doesn't work, because
Okay.
then somebody gets a supernatural hockey
Hockey man.
goalie to come back and throw a flaming machete through your chest.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it didn't
it's
work.
Shame. I could. That's plausible.
Yeah.
But
So
logically, it doesn't make any
The
sense.
real mistake they made is there's a famous saying, nobody can, or fuck, I don't remember. You can't, nobody can tell your secret if you're the only one that knows it. So if the adults just killed all the kids that knew the secret, who can tell?
Okay.
Well, I
so
mean,
there's
that-
some options here. Option
Yeah.
one would have been to kill everybody who knows the
The
secret.
police chief
Yeah.
did kill his wife.
That is, well,
No,
it was
he-
a,
no,
it was a
Freddy killed his wife.
It was a psychiatrist.
The
that-
psychiatrist?
yeah.
That was
The
Freddy.
doc- yeah.
Who killed him.
Yeah.
It wasn't her. It wasn't her dad.
Yeah.
It was Freddy posing
I got
as
the
her dad.
impression that
The police chief was just a weird guy trying to cover it up.
Oh right, I got the impression that the doctor killed his wife.
That's what you-
save his wife.
Well,
from
then at the
Freddy.
end of the movie, the final girl's like, "Oh, it was actually Freddy who."
yeah,
killed her."
but that's why.
Yeah.
But it's like he was hurting her, so the dad was like, "I'm just gonna end it."
I thought
I'm
it was
gonna kill her.
actually Freddy who.
Maybe
killed
it
the
was.
mom.
Yeah,
It wasn't
that's what I
super
thought.
clear. But that's the impression I got, was the dad was trying to save the mom by killing her, essentially, which isn't great. But
Yeah. Man,
then there's some running around talking about
but not boring running around.
no, it's just like people,
Actually, I was very proud of some of these running scenes. You know how some
they were moving.
yeah, some running scenes are just like absolutely horrible and
Yeah.
they don't make sense. I
It's
thought these
annoying.
ones were very good.
They were really running,
more falling.
prancing. Yeah, no. Will and his buddy Mark, whatever his name was in this movie.
Yeah.
There were some shots of them tearing down like a street or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah. I can't remember what the buddy's name is. Frank, I think
go
it
with
is. Mark, like, just scared the shit out of that main character in the school for no reason.
Immediately, yeah.
Why would you? Don't do that.
Yeah,
Stop
she's like,
that.
I had a bad dream about a guy.
Oh,
It's all real, and he's gonna get
you
you.
know why he sings that song? It's because it's true. It's all true. If you go to sleep, he'll kill you. So you better become good friends with coffee. It's like, get the
Fuck you.
fuck off.
lame
What's
ass.
wrong with you?
I liked the Harry Potter ass CGI in the police station when she walked by the wall of the missing kid posters.
Yeah, they all
that's
just-
hilarious
yeah.
that they still have up. They know what happened.
Well, that was a dream.
Yeah, that was. A dream. I don't think that was. I think. Yeah.
okay.
I also thought that was just Freddy like changing the scene.
Yeah, but then when they all looked, I was like, they ripped that right out of the first Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
They hired the same CGI guy.
100%.
Although that does bring me to a point. I thought this movie did a phenomenal job of hiding when the dreams started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
transitioning to them.
I was always caught off
Yeah,
guard.
because you did not know until you knew.
And then
Yeah.
in retrospect, you're like, oh, that's when they fell
Yeah,
asleep.
yeah.
Like, there's one scene where a girl's sitting there on the couch and she's starting to doze off. She's like, I've got an idea. And she says it, and then everyone, like, they're like, oh, why don't we just
Oh.
tie you up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
that
then
was
you're
a good
like,
one.
you're like, oh, she dozed off right there.
Yeah.
I can pinpoint when she did it.
yeah, that
Like,
was really cool.
In the police station, she puts her head down.
Yep, or in the goat one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, dude, yeah, the transitions into the
They're
dream
really
sequences
good.
were fucking.
The writing in this movie, we haven't given this as a compliment to any of the movies yet. The writing in this
No.
movie was good.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
was a well-written movie.
Yep.
I mean, because I feel like maybe it's because it took 23 years for them to get here.
Probably.
18 different drafts,
Yeah.
right? But that's better than like M. Night Shyamalan writing the script down on a napkin and
Yes.
selling it the next day. Like, this movie had some thought,
Mm-hmm.
it had a goal, and it like brought you there.
Yeah. It
was-
and it made sense. Like, there's not a lot of weird, besides like the distance between Ohio and New
Right.
Jersey. Like, there's no really
yeah.
gaping plot holes that
No.
like.
Well, I feel like that is just kind of an inevitable plot hole of you trying to bring two
Yeah.
unrelated things together.
Yeah.
I think we should skip forward to the fight scenes.
I was
I
just going to
one
say
more
the
thing
same
to touch
thing.
before we get there. I want to talk about the most iconic character in this franchise that I think.
The cop that came out of nowhere and then died.
The
very
cop
swiftly.
that came out of the nowhere is really funny when he walks into the cool teen basement.
and he's just on
Yeah.
their side.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, I'm here to help.
So who the fuck
No,
are you?
I was gonna say hookah worm.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I love
Oh
that.
my god. I wrote that down. I completely forgot about that. I wrote that down.
Hookah worm.
Last thing I expected in this movie
What's a
was
hookah
a
worm?
weird caterpillar to come out with a bong.
A hookah.
Yeah.
Smoke a hookah. Hookah
Dude,
worm. That's the
what
title of the episode.
Fuck. Hookah worm. Yeah, when he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go smoke some weed. Do you want to hang out?" And he was like,
Well,
"No."
and so that was cool.
I was like,
because
that dude's gonna
another
die.
cool dream sequence is he fell asleep.
Yeah.
He got so high he passed out.
But I knew that dude was gonna die.
And then I also like how
Did
he
his
was
hair get longer too? What happened there?
maybe
Who's
but
the dude with the long hair with the tranks?
that was that was the guy. That was the stoner.
I didn't realize he had long hair.
I think he just looked more serious. He had long hair the whole time.
I didn't
Yeah.
notice that.
Yeah.
But I liked how his sequence that like he was pretty along for the ride the whole time.
He was pretty.
He
helpful.
wasn't really scared. Like in the dream sequence, he was like, "Oh, you guys want me to dump the pills down the drain?
Those
we need those."
Those coma patients were scary.
Scary.
Yeah.
for sure.
Did not like them.
Yeah, but hookah worm, man.
Weird.
Wow. And when they do like a 5-second shot of it forcing itself under a door frame.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck is happening?
Ripping a bong. It's like, what the fuck is
Dude,
this?
it was. I like. So, anyways, hookah
And then
worm,
it's
iconic.
And
character.
then it's Freddy
yeah.
is the worm.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. So.
Yeah.
Okay. This is weird. Was the worm corporeal? Is that a corporeal worm?
no.
Or is this guy dreaming at
Dreaming.
that point?
Yeah.
So the dream worm forces itself into his throat, and he swallows the dream worm.
And it's
Yeah.
Jason.
And
it's
now
Freddy.
Now Freddy
Yeah.
can control him in real life because in a dream he swallowed a worm.
Seems like a thing he should use more often.
Yeah.
dude, he could accomplish so much more.
Yeah.
If he didn't have to wait for people to fall asleep all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, to give Freddy Krueger some credit here, it's like not a bad plan to take control of that kid's body, pump Jason full of tranks, get him to fall asleep because he doesn't sleep. Get him to fall asleep so you can get
fight
into
him.
his dreams,
Yeah.
fight him on your
It
own
made
terms.
sense.
Yeah.
Which brings us
Well,
perfect
hold on.
transition.
I love the line that I think his name was Fingelberg. He said right when the girl was like, "Come on, Fingelberg, come on," and he goes, "I gotta handle this" or something. And I was like, "That was badass, dude." Freddy's like, he's fucking serious.
Yeah.
And then we get into
It's like, I gotta put an end to this
Yeah,
fucker right now.
uh-huh.
Puts him to sleep. They start fighting in the most Looney Tunes ass fight
Yeah.
scene in the world. It was
he
crazy.
bounces him around.
It was
for a
like,
while.
literally, like you said, it was like The Mask.
Yeah.
He was like fucking doing Three Stooges shit, poking him in the eyes, kicking him in the balls, spinning around in a circle,
Yep.
doing the splits. And it was also very WWE.
Yeah.
it was.
It was.
I like how Jason Voorhees was like afraid. Like he was kind of on the on the
He was
the
on the
back
cusp.
pedal.
You
Yeah.
could see it in his eyes.
Well,
Yeah,
He was like,
getting
"Oh,
his ass kicked,
shit."
dude.
Well-
and Freddy has fucking hands, man.
Yeah. The thing, yeah.
like Muhammad Ali.
Well, and the thing that I liked a lot about this fight, like the fight scenes
Oh yeah,
as a
MMA
whole.
correspondent
Oh,
Chris.
shit,
Yeah,
dude.
holy
We
shit.
haven't had one in a while.
Yeah, no, but I think the great thing is
Saturday night.
because
In the blue corner, we have Jason Voorhees.
Hold on, this is his walkout song. In the red. I was just gonna do dead silence, but that's funnier. In the red corner, we have Freddy
Krueger.
What's his walkout song?
something about going to sleep.
What's
Yeah.
the-
1, 2, buckle your shoe.
Yeah.
What is that?
4.
Sandman.
No.
Sand me a
Bring me your
man.
dreams.
Sand me a man. Make him the sandiest man that you can. Oh, Mr. Sandman. Is that what you're talking about, Riley?
Yeah, you know what? I said what I said.
Man. Yeah, but MMA correspondent
Yeah.
Chris, take over.
So because this fight was a two-parter fight. First
was.
part taking place.
Three-parter fight.
That's true.
I mean, I
Boiler
feel
room.
like there were 3 distinct sections of this fight.
Boiler room?
Four distinct sections of this fight. Boiler room.
Which was a real boiler room, by the way, not a set.
Yep. Boiler room, cabin inside,
Yep.
construction site, dock,
Well, there was
or woods also.
the boiler room, which was the dream. Then there was basically Freddy just fucking with Jason in the dream at the camp, I believe,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
because that's when the main character girl goes under.
Oh, right.
And I don't know what her plan is.
Well, no, her plan is to get because apparently
Oh, yeah.
if you wake up when you're touching Freddy, he comes to real life.
So
Which is a
in the-
plot point in every Freddy movie,
it
I'm pretty
is
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
and she knew because she ripped,
You ripped his ear off.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, so there was a couple different sceneries for the fight, but I kind of categorized it as two parts: the dream world portion, and then the actual, like the real world
world,
portion.
yeah.
Yeah. And the thing I enjoyed about this was it was a very even fight. Because in the dream world, logic would tell you Freddy's gonna have the advantage, which he did. However, a lot of that fight in the dream world, Jason was kind of putting in the most work.
And he was tanking too.
Yeah, like-
he was a tank.
Bro, the way he freaking just bashed him through that entire cabin was insane.
Yeah.
And probably one of my favorite parts.
Well, and then same thing happens kind of in the reverse. Then once it gets into the real world, until the end of the fight, Freddy was kind of winning. He was
That's-
kind of fucking him up.
That's true.
And it was the
Good
same
point.
way in both parts where the person at the disadvantage was winning until the end.
You think? I mean, in the dream sequences, I thought Freddy was still winning. Like, Jason Voorhees gets kind of once he gets back up, he starts kind of like after getting bounced around, he starts throwing again. But then the water comes down,
Well,
and
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
useless.
I
Again.
think.
Yeah, and that's
like,
when
to me-
that's the end of the fight is when he started losing is once that water started.
Yeah.
I felt like Jason Voorhees was like on his back the whole time.
I thought
Freddy had the upper hand, almost the entire fight.
See, I actually thought I kind of agree with Chris a little bit, which I think that Jason was doing better in the dream sequence than Freddy
Yeah.
had anticipated
Yeah, that- I guess it's
because Jason wasn't he's not
he-
afraid of Freddy.
and he can't. He also, I don't think, can die.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So-
he's like, I'm not afraid of you until the water comes out, and then Freddy's
Flashback.
like, oh, so you are scared of something?
Yeah.
it's water. I fucking see. I got you now, you bitch.
Yeah, and then that like the little kid version comes out, and he does like a little brain meld with him or something.
Weird,
That was weird.
creepy.
Yeah, as he's already in his dreams.
But while
which
they're
is-
doing this, the main the people, the main characters, the humans are trying
Driving him to
yeah.
New Jersey,
And then Jason starts to drown in his dream, but also in real life, because if you die in your dream, you die for real.
yep, this is true.
And somebody's going to kiss him. Really surprised that they didn't go through with that kiss. Mouth to
I
mouth.
am too.
Then they crash the car, and Jason goes fucking flying. Like, he went flying through the air after
Maybe
they
I forgot about
wrecked
this
that
part of the
van.
movie.
They wrecked the van because Jason wakes up, crash into a tree, and he just like flies out of the back of the van like a jet, just off screen. Just where'd he go? I
Takes
don't know.
off.
Back into the woods, I guess. And then I can't remember what their whole plan is now. Just get
They have to get her
So-
to wake up, so she brings Freddy
Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
dream portal or whatever.
And then I think the plan was for Jason to kill Freddy, although not really sure what the plan with Jason was after that.
Well, they said
Figure it out.
They said, well, at least he'll be home. You know, we'll get him back to where he belongs. So, but it's like, but you're also there, and the last thing he likes is
people there.
teenagers
camp, yeah.
at his camp.
Well,
So-
but Jason only really does what his mom says, right?
yeah, but if there's teenagers at the camp,
Yeah,
he's
so they
gonna
could
kill
just
him.
drop him off and hightail it out of there.
They could try.
Yeah.
But he's like I said, he's swift.
Yeah, he's fast.
I loved when Freddy got pulled into the real world and he realized it, and he's like, fuck,
Yeah.
fuck. Now I have to fight this dude in real life.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
And then they got serious for a minute. They were fucking going after each other. The other characters were getting in the way. They were like totally disposable.
Yeah,
It
they
was
just-
like God fight.
They
going
kind of
on.
die one by one.
I thought that the construction scene was just goofy. It was just so goofy.
It got very goofy again.
very like Three Stooges, Rube Goldberg machine type beat. But that's when I was like starting to think. Like I was like, okay, I feel like at this point, I feel like they're putting Jason kind of at an intentional disadvantage here.
Because
like,
in the real world, he just
would just totally one shot.
Yeah.
But
Have you seen how strong he is?
Yeah, he's very strong. I did like how they kind of played Freddy up as like he fights smart, man. He
Yeah.
fights
Yeah.
dirty. Where Jason's sort of just like
It's like the brute versus like the guy
The
who's
cunning guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although even on those 1-to-1, like when they were throwing, I mean,
Freddy was doing something.
Yeah.
He's not just some chump.
he's got knives for hands.
He's slick, man. He's slick.
Yeah.
But they tussle. They light the dock on fire.
He chops off Jason's fingers so he can't use his machete.
Yeah.
I like the shot of Jason looking at it like,
Yeah, he's like, oh,
fingers are
what
off.
do I do now? Yeah.
It sucks I'm not left-handed.
yeah.
Shit.
So I guess like if you're that strong and powerful, why aren't you ambidextrous already?
I don't know. It's a good question.
That's his
Yeah.
weakness other than water.
Yeah.
he's really really right-handed.
right hand dominant Jason. But it all kind of caps off with,
sort of a lackluster,
Jason pretty
Yeah.
much wins.
but he kind of doesn't also.
Yeah, I mean he takes Freddy into his watery closet and puts him in there, in like the supernatural world.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember what happens to the two main characters who make it.
I think they just kind of run away. The movie sort of ends with Jason getting back out of a lake and Freddy winks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then I think the movie just, I can't remember if they did anything with
No,
them.
I don't
No,
think so.
and I think I didn't make a note of it, but I remember thinking it while watching it that this movie just ended, like not in a bad way, just like we're done. The story's
Yeah.
complete. We're not going to give you like a post
Right.
scene
But
where
they did, because I think in essence, like these franchises aren't about like the stupid fucking characters who run around and get killed.
no, they're about the
They're
kills.
about the killers.
No, yeah.
And like they ended with those folks. They give
Yeah.
you your end shot instead of like these kids returning to school or like going to a party or whatever they do at the end of horror movies. Instead of that, it was just like, look, here's Jason putting Freddy in his water closet and Freddy winks.
and then he gets into that rocket and he goes into space.
Yeah, right. And he drives to Fort Lauderdale or whatever the NASA facility is.
he
he
hitches
just
a ride.
slowly walks.
Yeah, and then he shakes hands with Elon Musk and he gets in a SpaceX rocket. Yeah.
It's crazy.
So you know that Tesla they shot into space?
He was in that.
He was in it.
I was wondering who's driving that.
Crazy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, that's the movie. And my favorite thing about this movie is that, and they sort of did it. They broke the fourth wall a little bit when all the teens were in the basement, in the teen basement, hanging out with the cop. And they're arguing about like, no
Teens
way,
hanging out
dude,
in
Freddy would totally win, or like, no,
Yeah.
Jason's way bigger. I'm like,
Those are the fans.
This is great. Yeah, these are the fans. Two, like, that's the movie.
Yeah.
The movie's just like who would win in a fight,
Right.
Freddy or Jason.
Yeah, it's a tale as old as movies.
And it's amazing to me that they've been doing this shit since the 80s. That in the 80s, some people sat down after watching this, and the first thing some guy said on the way back from the theater was, "Hey, who'd win in a fight, Freddy or Jason?"
Yeah.
And then him and his friends argued about it for 23
Until
years.
a major movie studio made a $50
And they
million
didn't even have the
movie.
balls to make a decision about who won.
No.
You want to know the funny thing about that, though? I think it actually goes farther back to the 80s. If you think of like Roman Colosseum, they would make lions and like bears fight each other.
Yeah, wait.
They're like, you see those two giant ass animals? Who do you think would win?
Augustus.
This is just
Clomp, 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 clomp. The horse walks by. There's like an old bull.
Have you seen this striped cat?
I have never seen the striped cat
From the
before,
east?
Caesar.
He is the most ferocious
From
beast
Persia,
you would
say.
see.
What if we make a man fight it?
Oh, a man would stand
win?
no chance.
if
Only
we
a beast can defeat a beast.
But a man is a beast inside. We are civilized as Romans. But really, if we were to go down to, say, or go north to the Germanic lands, aren't they beasts, Augustus?
Okay,
They're so
I'm
much
mostly
taller than me
and better.
and better. Would they beat a striped tiger? I think so, Augustus.
No way. There's not a chance.
That's what they did in Roman. They go, what?
You guys hear this guy,
Well,
Russell Crowe?
I think there's only one way to solve this.
To the Colosseum. Bring the grapes and the fermented fish sauce we eat because we're Romans.
horrible. God.
There's a guy on YouTube I watch a lot where he just makes old Roman food. It's like ancient food history or something.
You want to shout him out?
Yeah, well, I can't remember his username.
Okay.
Just look up gross fish sauce that the Romans ate. That was a awful bit of
Yeah, it was. I was gonna say cavemen probably did it too, but I don't want to go into that bit.
Get to a like a punchline or anything.
No,
Which
not
is
at
the
all.
point.
Yeah.
There's no punchline. People have been arguing about this shit forever.
Way to bring it
And,
back.
Yeah.
That's what this movie does. This movie doesn't answer your question, but it's a hell of a lot of fun to ask it.
And I think that's my favorite thing about the fight is it ends in an ambiguous way where you could argue either one kind of won.
Yeah, like I think Freddy won that fight.
And I would agree, like, for the majority of the fight, I would say as a whole, Freddy was probably winning it.
But I guess that's the point. We're going around in circles now, and we
Yeah,
literally could
exactly.
forever. So
Yeah,
Exactly.
I will say it's good on them to not do what's kind of become a trope in these crossover movies, which is where they fight for a bit and then they're friends at the end.
yeah,
They team up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was really expecting a team up. I'm glad it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm glad they stuck to their
Yeah, I
guns
guess
and
that's a good
said,
point.
there's going to be an ending and somebody.
They did the
you can
team
make-
up early, and they're like, they flipped
Yeah.
the team up on its head.
Yeah, they were friends for a bit
Yeah,
and then they
and then
fought.
they're like, why these
Well-
guys? They're in set. They have the same goal.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece.
And realistically, that's kind of how villains would operate.
they're-
They'd be selfish. They'd want it
Yeah.
all for themselves, and then they'd start kind of eating each other.
Yeah, part of me is like just has a soft spot for Jason though, and like I feel bad for him because he was like resting. He was like, finally, nobody's at my fucking camp. I can rest in the afterlife. And then and Freddy Krueger's like, I'm gonna use this dickhead to come back, and then like takes the dog off the leash.
Yeah.
And then when the dog gets in the way, he's like, "Fuck this dog!" Like,
I'm gonna
fuck you,
kill this dog.
And
Yeah.
Jason's just like, "Hey, man, you sent me here. Now you
Well,
don't want
but I
me
think
here."
you're also doing that thing humans do where they assign emotions to things.
Yeah, I don't think Jason has emotions.
I don't think he was really thinking all that much about it.
His emotions.
Yeah, I think his mom told him to go fuck up
Yeah,
Elm Street, and he
just
went and
believed
fucked it up.
Yeah.
His emotions.
Yeah.
He was scared. He's just a child at heart. A scared child.
Scared child.
What do you say we rank this thing?
What do you say we rank this thing?
Ranking.
Nice. That was good.
I feel the need to throw in here like a description of the list, so we're just not throwing it out
Okay,
there. People
sure.
don't know what it means. The list is in reverse order. Highest movie is the worst. Lower is better. If you're curious about the list so far, you can check out the link in the description to go see the full official Dookie Spookies podcast ranked list on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's getting longer and longer.
It is. So, where are we feeling with this thing?
So I ranked this a 6 out of 10. As far as our list goes, I don't think this is a middling movie. I don't know
really
exactly
don't
where,
agree.
but this
Yeah.
is going to be a lower third for me.
Okay.
I
I
would
don't know
agree.
where, but lower third for sure.
I think I know where I'm going to put it, so I can start it off for you guys.
I guess I should look at the list when we do these.
I'm going to put it right above Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Because
They're similar movies in a weird way.
yeah, and I think Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was just a little, I don't want to say over the top, but it was so bad it was enjoyable. Whereas this was still trying to be a good movie.
That's fair.
Yeah, but I definitely think it's better than Five Nights at Freddy, Haunting of Molly Hartley, everything else we watch.
Yeah, you gotta get those M. Night Shyamalan movies up on
Are they not on there?
not
Or not the latest
not the most
one?
recent one. Yeah,
They're happening. Last episode.
They're
Go check it
happening.
out.
Go check it out.
Yeah, I actually kind of feel similarly, although I wouldn't necessarily argue about putting it between Five Nights and Winnie the Pooh. I don't know. I do think this is better than Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. What do you think, Riley?
I was gonna put it under Stitches.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best.
Oh, really? Okay. I mean, I'm not completely opposed to that.
No?
Even though so Stitches I enjoyed, right? Because it's funny, it doesn't take itself seriously. But this movie is just like classic horror.
Yeah.
I mean, it plays the tropes exactly as you would want them to.
But not in, it doesn't feel
But not in a bad
tired.
way. It doesn't, it's like well written.
Yeah. It feels on the verge of tired.
And like Stitches, I think Stitches was a great movie and I really liked it. But this movie, I mean, Stitches felt like somebody making, like that was an attempt at this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like the Freddy and Jason are horror.
Right.
Like this is what all the other movies on this list are aspiring to.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, I'm kind of on board with this being the best movie so far.
Yeah. I think that there is something to be said about using comedy as a crutch in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Because if you're going, you know what, we can't make this as scary. Not that I'm saying this is what happens with Stitches, but I can see it as a likely
I would agree.
thing to think where
I
we
think
can't
you're
make
right.
this as scary as we want it to. So let's just make it funny.
Yeah.
And where this still has some funny bits and it still has some scary bits, it's still enjoyable. Like you said, it's classic, classic characters. It's not to the point where the tropes have been so overdone that they're tired.
Yeah.
They still try to freshen it up a little bit. Looks pretty good for a movie that came out in 2003.
Yeah.
You know, and then
Yeah, and it's I mean, it falls short like occasionally, but I also think that it's like, for the most part, a tasteful movie when it comes to horror.
Yeah.
And it's weird describing the, like horror movies as tasteful, right? Because they open with like a boob shot right
Yeah.
away. But like, you know, some of these other movies you watch like do egregious shit for the sake of being shocking.
Right.
Where this movie, like, it does shocking stuff, but you're kind of always like, I'm watching a horror movie.
yeah.
Like it's never something out of left field or like, you know, that's like trying to like break some norm. But that ends up doing it very poorly. Like, no, it just is what it is.
I also think the culmination of like 20 years of work
Yeah.
is, and the fact that this movie is as good as it is after 20 years of dicking around with it, because that happens to movies. That happened with Black Adam, where it was in development hell for like 15 years. And then it comes out and it's just been micromanaged to shit. So you know what? Actually, good on the studio for finding a director and going, you have creative freedom.
Yeah. Right.
You know, that's takes some balls, especially when you're working with heavy hitting characters like these two.
Oh, for sure. Because you've got legacy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe the stakes aren't that high if the previous movie was like Jason Voorhees Goes to Space, but whatever.
But it still kept the interest in these characters big enough that they were able to reboot it to some success.
Yeah.
And it is worth noting that where you watch this 20 years after it was released and it still for the most part
That's a
held
good
up
point.
very well.
Right.
Yeah, there's some like
Yeah.
off-color jokes that are like, I couldn't do that today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But as far as like, but the appeal of the characters too is still the same.
Yeah.
Like if you never like me, I mean, I knew like about these guys, but I'd never seen them in the movie. Like I get it, you know.
Yeah.
And I think if you showed to this person like somebody raised in a tank, like completely isolated from horror movies, you're like, this is a horror movie. They'd go, I get it.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, we need a sound like an applause for best movie.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Best movie on the list
Best movie on the list
for the moment. Because
time
Yeah.
being.
As we all know, coming up in a few weeks, we're going to do the grand
The
reshuffle.
first list reshuffle.
But yeah, this is the best movie on the list so far.
Best movie
for
on the
now,
list.
before the grand
Sweet.
reshuffle.
All right. And I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
I did rate it in the middle, but like you guys had said, and we might be beating a dead horse at this point, but it was a good movie.
Yeah.
We're beating
Riley,
the
what time
horse.
is it?
What are we watching next?
First thing she said all podcast.
What are we watching next?
Wow.
Wait, it's an EP one.
I eat
Last
the
was a
other
good
day.
Wednesday. We were in an awake Wednesday.
Yeah.
Today's a sleepy Wednesday.
I feel okay.
We're filming this on a Wednesday.
I feel okay right now.
I feel pretty
I
good.
feel fine. Yeah.
Let me look up random name.
Yeah, because I think we just ended the last cycle,
did.
so all four of us are up for the picking.
Who will it be?
Okay, I'm spinning the wheel. The wheel is spinning. It is Riley.
I knew I don't have a movie.
You got to pick. You got to pick.
Okay, well then I'm gonna have to watch the one right in front of me, and it is The Disappointments Room 2016.
The what?
I've heard of this. The Disappointments Room.
Yeah.
I don't like the way that's a
either.
scary fucking name for a movie. I think personally.
Do you want to read us a
Disappointments
little?
Who put
Excerpt?
Stalked by My Doctor on this list? Was this you?
No, did somebody else? I think I might have actually. That's what I was gonna choose.
Stalked by My Doctor. This movie looks like a fucking it was like Lifetime movies or something.
Yeah.
So they're always like, babysitter steals my baby. or like what if my daughter was my mom? And it's like just like mom core horror movies.
Yeah.
That's what this seems like.
Yeah, pretty much. Riley, do you want to read us a little teaser for?
Sure, this
movie
is
next
just
week?
straight off the good old internet. Dana, her husband David, and their 5-year-old son Lucas start a new life after moving from the hustle and bustle of Brooklyn, New York, to a stately old manor in the quiet countryside. After settling in, Dana starts to experience terrifying visions and dreams that she cannot explain. The mystery grows when she stumbles upon a secret room in the attic. After finding the key and unlocking the door, Dana discovers the dark history of the family that lived there in the 19th century.
Wow,
Wow.
Dang.
sounds pretty spooky.
That's
Yeah.
What were the stars on it? What's the ratings?
3.9 out of 10.
So pretty good.
3.9.
3.9 out of 10.
Out of 10?
Oh, out of 10.
Yeah.
Not out of 5.
Yeah, I know. I was
10.
like 3.9. That is wait out of 10.
Okay, I see. So that'll be fun. So
Yeah.
tune in next week to that. Thanks for listening. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Dookie Pod.
With a Y.
Yes. Links are in the description below if you want to, give us a follow. You can send us an email at dookiespookiespodcast@gmail.com.
With an I, yes.
Yes, like the podcast you're listening to right now. You can look at it spelled out. The link for that will also be in the description.
You can find it.
Yep.
You're a grown up.
Yeah, figure it out.
Couple buttons away.
Subscribe if you enjoyed the show.
One day we'll put this on Spotify.
Maybe. Who knows? Leave us a like.
Leave us a comment.
Oh, yeah.
Send us a letter.
Oh, my God. Please send us a letter.
We'd love it.
Yeah.
We'll get a P.O. box one day. That'd be so fucking fun. Dude. Do mail opening. People just send us shit in baggies. Oh, dude, we do not care. Whoa, we don't get shit.
With a Jason mask on. That'd be great.
And here's your reward for making it to the end
shit,
of
I
the
almost
pod.
thought-
You get a reward.
Yep, I'm gonna dox all of us. Our names are